Hi, this is Justin Elliott from TPM Media. I'm here with Eric Alterman at the 92nd Street Y for, we just had a panel, Why We Need a Liberal Israel Lobby. You said during the panel that you thought that Israel was on a bad track right now and had been for a while. Are you hopeful 50 days into the Obama administration that he might help knock it off the track?
I'm not at all hopeful. It's a really hard thing to do, to force Israel, the government of Israel, to do something that is politically costly. And the new Israeli government is not at all sympathetic to Obama's analysis of what's in Israel's best interest. So, plus, it would be enormously politically costly for it to do what the Obama administration would like it to do, because it's antithetical to what it ran on. So, even in, from my perspective, good Israeli governments, the settlements expand, they're thickened. There's very little sympathy for creating what are referred to as confidence-building measures for the Palestinians. There's very little work been done on either side in preparing the populations for peace. And you can't have peace between democratic populations, and both Israel and Palestine are democratic populations, when the population is not ready for it. And that those populations are less ready for it today than they were 10, 15 years ago. So I think we're moving backwards, and I'm not at all optimistic.
Regarding the Chaz Freeman affair last week, Jeremy Ben-Ami of J Street was making the argument. I mean, J Street did not engage on that while it was happening, and he said they didn't know enough. But obviously, the side that engaged won.
Yeah.
Who do you think? I mean, do you think there should be someone to stick up for people like that? The next Chaz Freeman? Should it be J Street?
Well, if J Street wanted my advice on what to do, I would give it to him. I don't tell them what to do. I don't tell organizations how to run themselves, and they don't tell me how to run myself. But I do think there's something enormously distasteful about the idea that you can't have someone who disagrees with you on policy in a government job that has nothing to do with the policy that they disagree with you on. I think AIPAC, or whoever was behind the Chaz Freeman defeat, wanted Chaz Freeman's head on a stick as a kind of example to anyone who was thinking of going outside what they would define to be the legitimate parameters of debate on Israel-Palestine. In my view, Chaz Freeman didn't go outside any legitimate parameters, even though I have, I'm sure, great differences with him. But they felt that way, and they felt it would be useful to make an example of him. And I think that's very dangerous. I think that, A, it's dangerous to democratic discourse, and B, it undermines Obama. Obama is all about, he appointed Hillary Clinton Secretary of State. His whole modus operandi is this idea of a team of rivals. And yet this is the only place you're not allowed to have a team of rivals, because the quote-unquote pro-Israel community is going to decide who's acceptable and who's not. I find that offensive as an American, and I think that that is going to create an awful lot of ill will on the part of the, again, quote-unquote pro-Israel community.
Last question. You said you wrote an article in your 20s about AIPAC that was critical of AIPAC, and you said you made a remark that it was stupid to do or is not strategic, but you also said that journalism has changed since then. Can you talk about how it's changed, how you think the climate's changed in journalism?
Actually, I meant to go into more detail on this. I'm glad you asked. I think people writing in places like TPM, and people who are sort of, I don't want to cast any aspersions on them, people who are sort of embarking on the same kind of career that I've now had for like 20 years, people like Matt Yglesias and Spencer Ackerman and Ezra Klein, and Josh Marshall is older than that. He's closer to my age. But these people don't feel the same pressure to conform that I did, and things don't come down on their head that I did. And I think they're able to be much braver than I was. I mean, I actually think I was pretty brave in writing that one long article, because I did sort of put a target on the back of my back. But these people, I think, there's been enough space to created whereby you're not risking your career by being critical of Israel and by raising these issues and by being critical of the people who profess to be Israel's champions in our democracy, in our media. Now, they're still very much in the media, and they still get all kinds of vicious attacks that are designed to to intimidate them. And these attacks emanate from the New Republic, from Commentary, from the Weekly Standard, and from much smaller places that you haven't heard about. And the people who carry them out are considered to be entirely respectable and responsible, and they don't pay any price whatsoever for them. But they're a lot less effective than they used to be in shutting down discourse. And if we had 20, 30 years to solve this problem, this would be a source of enormous optimism. Unfortunately, we don't have 20, 30 years. We've got to solve it sooner than that. And if you're looking for a source of optimism, I would choose this, but it's not nearly enough.
Okay, Eric, thanks for being with us. This is Justin Elliott from TPM Media.